So week 11 of the NFL season in the books. What a week it was. I could say that every week, I guess. It's kind of a lame catchphrase, but whatever. Let's take a look back at what happened, okay? Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. For some reason, the Packers were starting to get a lot of love leading up into Thursday night's game. I didn't really get it. I don't understand it. Still don't. Like, all of a sudden, there's this talk about the Packers making the run. I've seen it growing and growing on social media, talking about the Packers are going to make a run, and the Packers could do this, and the Packers ain't doing any of that shit. Mike McCarthy's time in Green Bay is drawing to a close. Everybody can see that. Everybody knows it. And the fact is, the Packers just aren't a very good football team. And any delusions you might have had about that were quickly refuted as I placed the good old Jeff Jinx on them Thursday night. I picked the Packers. You're welcome, cheeseheads. Up yours. Seahawks win 27-24. The Cowboys follow up last weekend's win over the Philadelphia Eagles going into Atlanta and winning the game late 22-19 over the Falcons. And all of a sudden, here come the Cowboys in the NFC East for whatever the hell that means. Cam Newton tried to lead his team back late, get a touchdown, misses the two-point conversion. He gets Riverboat Ron as a name for a reason. Ron Rivera made the decision there. I actually like the decision because play for the win, not the tie. Cam's got to make that throw. The Panthers should have won. They did not. The Detroit Lions season kind of sort of is still alive, but we'll see what happens on Thanksgiving Day. The Indianapolis Colts are coming. They're coming. They spanked the Titans 38-10. My goodness. All of a sudden, the Colts are sitting there at 5-5. The playoffs are potentially realistic. They're still technically in the race for the AFC South too. Ain't that something? How about that? The Giants and Bucks had a shootout. Fitzpatrick got benched for Jameis Winston, but the Giants found a way to get it done. They've won 2 in a row. Odell Beckham Jr. talked about running the table. The Giants' schedule gets softer in the second half. Well, let's not get crazy here. But hey, a win's a win in the NFL. And what's crazy about the Giants is as bad as they are and as bad as they've been at 3-7, they still technically are in the mix, yes indeed, for the NFC East title. Ain't that something? The Texans got a couple of turnovers, found a way to hold on and beat the Redskins, who lost Alex Smith for the season during the game, 23-21. The Steelers were ugly on Sunday for 3 quarters. Then in the fourth quarter, they came roaring back like gangbusters. Big Ben punches it in late, and the Steelers beat the Jaguars, getting revenge for last year's divisional playoff loss, 20-16. Lamar Jackson in his first start goes for over 100 yards on the ground, and the Baltimore Ravens beat the Cincinnati Bengals 24-21. So much for Joe Flacco being a lead. The Raiders won a game. Oh, Cardinals, how could you let that happen? 23-21. The Chargers were up, but the Broncos came storming back late, and they end up winning at the end, beating the Chargers 23-22. No such luck for the Eagles. They got absolutely steamrolled by the Saints 48-7. And I love the fact that in the fourth quarter, it's 4th down, and they're throwing bombs. Fucking bury them. That's right. Keep the pedal to the metal. Put your foot on the gas, and don't let up. My Bears showed up in prime time on Sunday night, validating the decision to flex that game, beating the Minnesota Vikings 25-20. Hashtag back the Mac. Hashtag bear down bitches. The Bears are 7-3 and have a comfortable lead right now in the NFC North. And Monday night, what a performance. What a shootout. What a crazy game. The game is moved from Mexico City to Los Angeles, and it ends up being the highest scoring game in NFL history in terms of 2 teams for the first time ever putting up over 50 points each. And if it was going to be 2 teams, who else could you have thought of unless you said maybe the Saints? The Rams held on to win at home 54-51. That's right. That's a college basketball score in some cases. And this is in the NFL. We're getting into damn Arena League territory. Wow. What a way to wrap up Week 11. Who are the winners and losers of the week, though? Start off with the winners. Lamar Jackson, in his first career NFL start, got the W. You probably don't want your starting quarterback running for over 100 yards every single week, but shit, you found a way to get it done in a game the Ravens absolutely had to have against a divisional rival, and Lamar Jackson was good enough to help lead his team to victory. The Indianapolis Colts Talking about a team that early on in the season was playing close competitive games but not figuring out ways to win them. Now all of a sudden they've won a few games in a row. They're sitting there at 5-5. They smashed the Titans on Sunday. They got to feel good about their chances the last 6 games of the season to make a little bit of noise here, and I kind of feel good about it too. And the Pittsburgh Steelers, one of the MOs for this team in previous years has been when they face bad teams, they find a way to lose, especially bad teams on the road. And the Jaguars are a bad team. Their now 3-7 record validates that. The Steelers were terrible for 3 quarters. They found a way to win a game they absolutely had every right to lose. And if they're starting to do that, and they're handling business against bad opponents on the road, which has been a major hiccup for them during the Mike Tomlin era, watch out for the Steelers. The losers of the week, Alex Smith. It's a rough deal for him. I feel really bad for him. I know I'm not the biggest Alex Smith fan, but I do not hate him. He's not Sam Bradford for crying out loud. He's not Jay Cutler for Christ's sakes. But here's Alex Smith, a guy, number 1 overall pick in 2005. Never should have been the number 1 overall pick, but he was. Early on in his career, he struggles with injuries. He struggles with flat-out level of play. Kind of goes through the motions the first, frankly, 6 years of his damn career before Jim Harbaugh gets there. All the while, you've got Aaron Rodgers by year 6 is leading the Packers to a Super Bowl championship. And all Alex Smith does the next several years is lead the 49ers to the playoffs, win a bunch of games there, get traded to Kansas City, lead them to the playoffs a bunch of times, a bunch of winning records and playoff appearances. Now you go to Washington in 2018, team with a good defense that's able to run the football. Alex Smith doesn't turn the ball over a ton, even though he did a couple times on Sunday. And you're looking at the Redskins sitting there, potentially having a chance to win the NFC East. And it was shattered just like his leg bone on Sunday. And that sucks. That's unfortunate. And I feel really bad for him. I really do, believe it or not. The Green Bay Packers. Yeah, all that talk about this and that. What a mess they are. They could have beaten the Seahawks on Thursday night, and they didn't get the job done. It's that simple. The Eagles, I mean, they got boat raced 48-7. The defending Super Bowl champions got their shit pushed in by over 40 points. Yes, it's on the road. Yes, it's against a great Saints team. But they lost another game, and this time they lost by 41 points. And the Jacksonville Jaguars. You had to have that game against the Steelers. If you had any delusions at all of thinking you had a chance this year to do anything, you had to win that game. And you had them dead to rights the first 3 quarters, and you couldn't get the job done. Fucking Jaguars are done this year. What the fuck happened? My God. And I'm going to close it out with my 2-minute thrill. And I know there are a lot of people that look at the game on Monday night and say, what the hell happened to the defense? I miss the old days when teams actually were able to put together some defensive stops and da-da-da and da-da-da. And look, as a purely older football fan, I completely agree with you. I prefer balance. I would rather see games 24-21, 27-24, maybe 31-21, something along those lines. I'd like to see some great offense, and I would like to also see some great defense. That would be my preference. But it's kind of the way of the world now. You know, hockey changed the rules, necessarily so, after the first lockout to incorporate more scoring, and it helped their product, that's for sure. The NBA made some changes over the years, and there was a significant change in the style of play to becoming much more in love with the three-point shot. Defense has suffered. Scoring has went up. So there are some things that are good about it and some things that are bad about it. I feel like it's kind of been a little bit of a mixed bag for them, and it is with the NFL too. But the reality is it's not going to change anytime soon. And the reality is all the griping and pissing and moaning and bitching we could do about it's not the way it should be or it's too much offense, I don't disagree. Too much of any one thing is not a good thing. It's just like if every team played great defense and you only had a couple of great offenses, then the league would suck too. But the NFL is validated when you look at some of the ratings. The casual fan loves offense. The hardcore fans, maybe they do, maybe they don't. Times are changing. The game is changing. And we're just going to have to get used to it. What more can I say?